Alright, so this is the old catch can, and if you see over here, that is the top of the motor. That's the vent out. It goes into the inlet, and then the outlet goes back around to the intake. Alright, today we're going to talk about the old oil catch can, and we're going to talk about why you need one even if your car is bone stock, as long as it's a newer vehicle. Fuel injected. So let's start with a picture of an engine. So normally what happens is when the engine is running, air will pressurize in the bottom of the engine. Well, that pressurized air rises up to the top of the engine, and then this is the valve cover. Well, there's a vent right here on the edge of the valve cover on this particular motor. Well, that vent actually will go out and into the pipe, or the box. The air box is connected to the intake manifold and where the throttle body is, so the air will actually circulate back into the motor and just is a closed loop, which is bad. When you see some people might take a motor like this, they'll take that off and they'll actually put one of these stupid little freaking breathers on there. Well, there's a reason why the engine is pressurized and why you shouldn't do that. But so what you should do instead is install an oil catch can there, and here's why. So we go back to the picture of the engine here, if we can do that. What happens is that air will rise up through the engine, and basically when it's vented here, that air that is pressurized, that basically goes out and back into the engine, has oil particulates in it. So in the air, it's kind of like if you're outside and it's been raining, there's moisture in the air. Same idea, but this has oil in it. So that oil basically gets cycled back into the engine and gets burnt. What happens is inside your throttle body and intake manifold, you may see that it becomes black. That black buildup, which if you look at this one, it's not that bad, mainly because I wiped it out. It was a lot worse than that. It'll end up looking like that. That is oil. So what an oil catch can does is you actually run a hose from here out and into the catch can, out of the catch can, and then back into the airbox vent, so it still creates a closed loop. Now, the reason why I think car manufacturers don't do this is because, one, it's an extra step whenever you're changing your oil, and also it will increase the longevity of your engine. So they can't sell cars if they're doing this. So this is the oil catch can, and what happens is that that pressurized air comes out and it goes into this inlet here. Well, this inlet, if you pop the bottom off this, has a baffle on it right here. So what happens is that oil hits this baffle and then drips into the bottom of this. Over time, which it won't be like tons, and it depends on like how old your engine is, how much oil you burn, how much oil particulates are in it. But with this particular one, it has a dipstick here so you can check it. But normally it should be every time you do your oil, like you do an oil change, you just basically unscrew this and pour that out, put it back on and screw it back together. So the engine vents out, goes into the inlet, and then this outlet basically doesn't allow the oil particulates to come back into the engine as much. So you're basically reducing the amount of oil that you're bringing back into the system. Then you're going to have less carbon buildup. You're going to have less gunk on your engine parts in the inside, and it will stop like the little passages here from basically clogging, and then you're getting check engine lights and different things like that, and having to have those passages clean, like the EGR passages and stuff. So that's the basic gist of like what happens and why you need an oil catch can on your car. So you see a lot of people building cars and they put these on there. And I think that this is a great idea for every car. Now there are many different types of oil catch cans. This particular can came with one of these stupid little things here because they have different ends like this that you can unscrew this and screw one of these in. It would go in here and then you could basically vent it to the world, but there's a reason why the engine is pressurized and we don't want to vent it, which is why we don't put that on the top of the motor like some people do for some strange reason. So you don't want to vent it because this thing's just going to get filled with oil if you do that. So you want a closed system. So if you buy an oil catch can, buy one that's a closed system. That's an inlet and an outlet with the baffle inside, and that's all you need. So you just unscrew it, pour it out. Whenever you do an oil change, you're good to go. It will greatly increase the longevity of your engine. So hopefully that explains it pretty good. If there's anything I forgot, just ask me below. You guys take it easy. Have a good one. Peace.